Here we are in the Theater of Blood, ready to pot some hard mode top 5 scales. This is the exact same team as a video I uploaded about 2 to 3 months ago featuring 3 learners. I don't know if it's fair to still call them learners 2 to 3 months in, but this is the same team, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see the improvements nonetheless. I guess I'll do a bit of commentating here, a walkthrough, explaining each room. So we are cross-freezing here. Even though I'm the north freeze, I freeze south 1, then north 2, and then 3s and 4s like normal. This is because we are going to be stacking, and what that means is you can see we're not hitting the 70s crabs. In fact, we push for the 50 spawn. We're going to be doing the same thing. South 1, north 2, 3s and 4s. And what that does is put the crabs in a better position for the melee rolls to Din's Bulwark spec. And then I'm just going to chin the clump here. And then the rest of Maiden here is going to proceed like normal. We're going to push for 30s, freeze the crabs, and then skip 30s. So they should proc here. There we go. I'm actually going to get 1, 2, and then 3. The south freeze is going to get the 4s. We're pretty much going to be freezing them at the same time. That lets us get on the boss quicker. Unfortunately, I just kind of step in blood there. That's going to slow us down a little bit. So I had been camping Light Bear the entire time. While I did Rattler spec, use 50 spec in the beginning, I gained enough back to get a ZCB spec, and then I surge potted so that I could Chally as well. Unfortunately though, that was not a very good time at 128. Most of Maiden was pretty good there, but the 30s, probably because I stepped in blood and maybe a few other reasons, that was not as fast as it could be. Heading into bloat. Typically, I join, you can see my teammates there, they're actually in the room already, and they're trying to ZCB proc, get some rubies. Just for some extra damage. Typically, I do that too, but I'm just going to chill out here for right now. I'm thinking bloat should go down somewhere by me, actually. And there we go. So you want to open up with a Chally, and then the safe method would be to do three scythe swings, and then another Chally, and then you run to a safe zone. Now, if you want, you can do a 4 scythe swing and then Chally, but then you'll be tanking the stomp. I tried to do that right there, but unfortunately I just stepped back into a dangerous tile, falling feet right there. We do get the boss down to 42.5% though, so potentially still a 2 down, even though I'm missing a whole down, unfortunately. Let's see if the team can get the job done here. Oh yeah, and I haven't done my Wordle of the day yet. Typically I try to do that when I first wake up, but I just haven't done it. 0.9%? Okay, and they die for the cause, 2 down. You know what they say though, bloat deaths don't count. Okay, here at the supply chest, we're just gonna be buying a stamina and a shark. Honestly, the stamina's not really needed, but it is a nice insurance for if Verzik goes south, we do have the stamina. And as an Iron Man, I kind of just like smuggling them out. I also do still sip a stamina dose here entering Nyla room, because why not? Alright, the Nyla room. For people that don't know, the Nyla room is mostly the same in terms of the waves and the spawns as regular Tob. The difference here though is that if you click on the incorrect ones, they will do reflect damage. So you're going to take damage, you don't want to do that. You want to be more careful with your clicks. And then on waves 10, 20, and 30, there's going to be a demi-boss. In most hard mode Tob raids, especially ones featuring learners or just inexperienced people, you're going to want to scythe Chally the first 2 Nylo bosses, and that goes for any team really. That's the game plan. You get rid of this Nylo boss. The only difference is, or the only exception is their RDPS you saw right there, chins waves 10s because they're double greens. But everybody else on the demi-boss. And immediately after that, if you're a freezer, you want to pay attention because that's the double mages. Then followed by double melees. Oh, someone just got the beaver pet. Or actually, that's a dupe, actually. Wow. 41.4 mil EXP. So I think the Nilo room's going to be a very good indicator of just how much people are improving in the raid. The room, actually, even right now, we can tell, like, it's going a lot smoother, I would say. There's not too many Nilos in the room because everybody's more familiar with the spawns now. They're getting them as they come down the lanes. Okay, here's the Nilo Prince 20s. Get rid of that nice and quick. I didn't even get my Chally off. Now, I did mention on wave 30, there's going to be another Nilo Prince, and most teams will typically ignore that Nilo Prince, as in not attack it, but obviously pray against it, as it will do a lot of damage. But more experienced teams, you can actually go ahead and focus down that Nilo Prince as well, because, well, your pillars are going to be a lot more healthy, your Nilos aren't going to be all over the place, the room's just a lot more manageable. And you can afford to be a little quick on getting rid of that Nilo Prince. So a couple more waves here. Trying to get that 29. I actually couldn't hit that one, unfortunately. But yeah, on to the Nilo Prince here. But yeah, you can see the pillars aren't even in any danger of going down now, honestly. They're chomping away at the pillars, but I'm fairly confident the team has got it, so I just focused down the Prince there. And this is a fairly decent cleanup, I think. 3 minutes? 3 minutes and 2 seconds. 3 seconds. Nope, it's still... Oh wait, 3 minute cleanup. I was looking at the wrong timer on the bottom right of my screen there. 3 minute cleanup, I think that's like pretty good. Not the best, but like better than most, I would say. Okay, I haven't explained the boss yet. The boss is going to rotate the different phases like normal top, but you can see here we are splitting away from each other. Basically, when it's range, we want to be at least 2 tiles apart from other players. And then when it's mage, we want to be stacked on top of each other. When it's melee like this, that it doesn't really matter. So yeah, mage right here, we have to stack on top of each other, otherwise we're going to take major damage. Likewise, range split apart, otherwise we take a ton of damage. Okay, that is a, what's it going to be, a 402? Pretty happy with that. I'm not sure what we got in the previous video, but I feel like a 402 is more than likely better. Alright, heading into Sodaseg. I only have a BGS, so I'm definitely going to be the fill role. In fact, in a 5 scale, there's 2 people that fill the hammer specs if needed, and I'm going to be the second one. My BGS is really just the last resort. Okay, I don't need a fill here. Unfortunately, there's actually 3 hammers. Like, what is that, you know? I'm just joking about the reported comment, by the way, but that is a wasted hammer. If you didn't know, you only need 2 hammers to land at Sodaseg. Although I imagine if you're trying to learn hard mode Tob, I think that should be something you already know from regular Tob. Here at Sodaseg, this is one of the key differences. The maze, it's the inverse of regular Tob. There's only 1 person in the overworld and everyone else is in the underworld, and each person gets a portion of the maze. And then there's going to be another difference here at Sodaseg that we'll get to in a second once it shows up. And that has to do with the big ball. 2 specs were landed that way. I can Dragon Claw it right here. Very nice, some extra DPS. Okay, here comes the ball. There's actually going to be 2. 2 people are going to be targeted. Oh, and our DPS was so good we're actually skipping it. But very briefly right there, you saw that there were 2 balls. And how you handle that is that the people with the balls are going to stand on the tiles left and right of the typical DD tile you want to be on. And then everyone else without the ball stands on the red tile I have labeled or marked right there. Okay, I get to use my claws again. Fantastic. This is a fairly decent soda seg right now as well. No one's died yet, which is fantastic. And it looks like it's going to be a sub 2. A 154, not too bad. Let's go ahead and pick up our stamina pot once again. And actually, you know what? I'm fairly certain I'm going to have enough points to where I can get a fresh new stamina. Really smuggle a 4-dose stamina out of here. Heading into Zarpus and Verzik, all I really need is 2 brews, 2 restores. I still have my Phoenix necklace on me, which I'm going to maybe make use of at Verzik if necessary. And if you're wondering why I bring the Phoenix necklace, it's so that I could potentially skip the soda seg maze if I'm the one in the overworld. Just a little bit of a time save. Okay, here in Zarpus, you'll notice right away the room is a little bit smaller. The outer tiles, 2 rows of tiles, are completely covered in poison. Now, despite the raid being called hard mode Tob, you know, implying that it's harder than regular Tob, I would say that Zarpus is the exception. Zarpus in this mode is actually easier, in my opinion. And that's mostly because of the post-screech. With a 5-tick weapon, or, you know, just about anything that's not a whip, that's 4-tick, or like a blade or whatever you might be using. If you do have a 4-tick weapon, post-screech is very simple, right? You just attack twice, the boss turns, you go to another corner if need be, and you attack twice, rinse and repeat. Now that can get kind of tricky with a 5-tick weapon like a scythe because, well, you're sometimes going to be able to get 2 scythe swings, sometimes you're going to be able to get 1. There is a certain cycle to that, but it's like kind of hard to tell, right? But hard mode Zarpus here, post-screech, you kind of just click the boss and AFK. So we are 5-tick Zarpusing, or 5-tick scything Zarpus here, Zarpusing, I'm just making up words. And what this does is that, you know, if you scythe the normal way, you're actually missing a hit every so often, right? But the 5-tick method here, where we purposely rag a tile, we're not missing any scythe swing hits. And here we go, pro screech. Okay, oh no, you know, I was just saying how hard mode Zarpus is actually easier. Okay, that was just an unfortunate misclick, but you can see how they're doing it. You know, you just have to stay in your corner and swing. The boss is gonna face whoever last swung. So as long as you're off tick from another, you'll never get hit. But yeah, that was very unfortunate right there. That was a series of unfortunate clicks by me. In fact, I think I've died twice in this raid so far, huh? It is what it is. Alright, got my stamina. Someone got the staff already. My inventory is absolutely packed, so you know I'm not taking the staff. Here at Verzik P1, we're going to be doing the 1-1-2 method, a slightly faster method, a more efficient use of everybody's spec energy. So Verzik P1 is going to finish a lot quicker than the conventional method. So what we do as Norfree, second in orb order, we scythe once, we get the staff, spec, then we get 2 scythe swings. I actually messed up there and I cross-scratched because I couldn't switch weapons in time, unfortunately. And if you're wondering, the reason I click on my claws there is just to have the spec bar already loaded so I can easily click it right away. But yeah, here in hard mode Tob, you have to alternate between pillars because a whole lot of rubble, or whatever you want to call it, falls on and around the pillar that was just targeted. We're about to get the staff back here. There we go. And this time around, we get 2 specs. When we first picked it up, we only spec'd once and then dropped it to the range roll right away. We're just going to go ahead and tank a hit here. 54, not very humble, but, you know, we should be okay. Yeah, that was not a very great 1-1-2 Verzik P1 there. 58 seconds, 57 seconds. I think it could be as fast as like 46, 47 is what you're really looking for. So that was pretty slow. I don't know if we missed a few hits there or not. That's okay. Oh my god, that's a crab. Life flashed before my eyes right there, not gonna lie. I didn't see that crab until like the very last second. Okay, so here's another key difference at Verzik in hard mode top versus regular. You can see that we're utilizing different tiles whenever we're stepping away from Verzik here, and that's because she leaves some poison tiles for a few ticks. And really, you just need to alternate between 4 tiles, but you can use a 5th tile just so you can just rely on the visuals rather than having to remember which tiles you stepped on in which order. Because the 4th one, the first tile you step on rather, will disappear and become safe just as you start to step back. But if you're just purely relying on visuals, you're not going to see that in time. Doing pretty good DPS here. I think the team might have wanted to go for the red skip potential there, but we weren't exactly executing the red skip method properly there. For one thing, we didn't have claws, and we didn't tank a hit or anything like that, so... But these days with the Avernic Treads, the Oath Play, and all this, I think it might be possible to get a red skip without utilizing any special methods. But yeah, it might be time to learn the 5-tick Zarp and the specific timing for red skipping. All good though, here we are on P3. Now here on P3, aggro is going to switch after a few swings, you can see it right there. We're going to be utilizing Bruce Super Combat here just to heal up, but also keep our combat stats up upon every swing. Definitely make it to webs. Good DPS here, honestly. We're going to proc NATOs, yeah, right away, pretty much. Now, that was actually really good right there. I don't know if you saw, but I think Jesse was actually ahead, like early running the webs, and he actually waited a tick to get back in cycle with the rest of the team. Now, typically, if you run early, everybody skips a hit and catches up to you. That's the general rule, but asking 4 people to skip a hit versus just 1 person feels bad. And I couldn't even talk fast enough. We just did pog webs there, and we finished it. Just like that, a sub 16. I believe the first sub 16 for at least one of the learners here. Again, actually, I don't even know if it's fair to call them learners anymore. Let's see who got MVP. Let's see, any kits for anybody? Oh yeah, let me just drop my hard mode top PB. That was pre-Yama, well, definitely pre-Doom, pre a lot of things, you know. We were still in Prims and Torva. And 1.4 mil in loot, pretty good.